My fellow traders, what's happening? Hope you guys had a great week. I know I wasn't around all week. Um, my Monday started out really, really bad when I log on and my scans don't work anymore. My trade idea scans don't work anymore. And that's what used to piss me off about them so much is that they never sent you a message to let you know anything was wrong. You just logged on and it was shut off. So I logged on and it said I was active, but I wasn't getting any data. So I log on to the main site and it tells me that I've been flagged as a potential professional trader or whatever, and that would require me to pay all these exchange fees. So I was like, okay. So I contacted them and I'm telling them I don't have a SEC license. I'm not licensed. I don't run a mutual fund or anything like that. It's like I'm just me, myself. And they were like, "Well, you run a trade room, a trade chat room, um, and so in their eyes, you're a professional." I said, "Okay." So it took me um, a day, but I got in touch with somebody from each of the exchanges, and they said, absolutely not. We do not consider you a professional. You're not licensed. You're not managing mutual funds where other people um, had like their retirement funds and all this stuff invested in it. You're not that. So, no, we wouldn't request anything. So, of course, I was like, man, they're just trying to take money. I don't know what's going on. So, I just left it alone. I told them to forget them. Just cancel it, give me my money back, and we're done. And so that was that. And I've been trying out different scanners, but that really messed my Monday up. And I tried all week to try and put things back together. But we'll talk about my week here in a minute. But that's why you haven't really, heard from me. And I've been working like sun up to sundown, trying to figure this stuff out because the market for me has changed. It really hasn't been the same since this GME stuff took place. It just seems like um, the moves are fewer and farther between. It's almost like trading in the summertime. And this week should have been the best week. It should have been the best week of the year so far because most of the S&P 500 the big five were reporting um, and they were expected to do good because they're reporting against numbers from last year and all of that. But turns out it seems like everything was baked in. The stocks really didn't move, or if they moved down, and it just kind of kept everything stagnant. It was just a frustrating week all the way around. So it took a lot of focus to not just dig yourself into a hole. And my main goal was not finishing the month red. It was the first 2 weeks of the month was slow. I had a red week last month. I mean, a red week last week, and then the week before last, and then last week I started the Monday out. Um, with the max loss day. So I was like, man, I'm pretty much giving back everything I made this month. So I had to focus and bear down and just wanted to get through this month. And then that's what we did. But that's why I want to talk about, how to handle a losing streak in trading. That's going to be key to your growth. And honestly, in this industry, losing is winning. And I know it doesn't make sense. It's a paradox, and it doesn't make sense. But in order to win, you have to learn how to lose, and you have to be able to accept losses as part of the deal. And it's not what we're taught, growing up. It's a pretty um, it's a pretty crazy thing. So, this weekend I rewatched this movie. And I've seen it a couple times before, but it made more sense to me this time. I don't know if you've watched it before, but it's called the Billionaire Boys Club. And their philosophy was based on what he called the paradox philosophy. And, basically, if you look at a paradox, it's like um, when you say something that's bad, you could say, okay, drugs are bad, but then you could turn around and justify reason to when drugs are good. Like you could say marijuana is bad, but you turn around and you can justify using marijuana for medical reasons or whatever. And you could turn it around and create a different, reality for something. And that's kind of what we have to do in trading. I started thinking about that and said, hey, that's kind of what we have to do in trading, because we have to turn our losses and our failures in the market into winners. We have to turn it into something good, because it is losses and losing is good. And it's funny. Last night I was watching another movie. The what is it? The Vampire in Brooklyn, and he turned into this preacher, and he was preaching, and he did a paradox. He flipped it around to where people believe evil is good. Evil is necessary, because if there's not any evil, then there wouldn't be any good. Therefore, evil is good. Evil is necessary. So I'm like, that's what we're doing. And in order to deal with these losses, these losing streaks, we have to turn it into something good. And we have to use that theory in order to make it through these tough times. So if you haven't watched the movie, watch it. I'm gonna post a link to a story or article that will explain how they use the paradox theory. And it's really, really interesting. And then I thought about, hey, we could use that same theory to mess ourselves up, to blow ourselves up, because we could turn every bad trading scenario into a good trading scenario and take the trade and lose money. So that's another one of these things. We just have to be really careful about, how we implement these things, because we know trading is just a big mental game. A big mental game. So it was just a thought. I got into that deep thought, and sometimes I do, and I wanted to share that with you. And if you do watch the movie and you do read the article, I want to hear, what you think about it. All right, so it was a struggle. A struggle. Like I said on Monday, I probably shouldn't have traded with everything that I dealt with and how upset I was. Here's a company that I've dealt with for 6 years. that would treat me like I was just inconsequential. Okay, so that's fine. I got over that. We moved on. And I focused on the days. My goal was to be up early, um, track the market, track some things, do some testing, do some paper trading, writing stuff down, where I would get in, where I would get out, just trying to see what is happening, because it seems like the best moves are happening between 7 o'clock and 10 o'clock, and after that, there's nothing until around 2:30 or 3 until 6 o'clock. And I'm like, man, this is crazy because it just wipes out the middle of the day. But I'm going to start, and I think I mentioned this last week. I'm going to start doing, teaching you guys how I trade pre-market, because I've been trading pre-market and aftermarket for years. But in order to do that, you have to be disciplined. You have to be at a point where you can stop out when you have to, because there are no stop losses, nothing to protect you in the aftermarket and pre-market. So you have to be able to stick to your trade plan, and that's going to be key. Those that can't will blow up and they'll lose everything. So that's why I haven't really shared it with the general public. The people that I mentor with that have grown to the point where they can handle this, I teach it to them and I show it to them, and they do very well. So they've gone beyond growing their account. They've grown their account. They've done the things that I teach you every day in the chat room. They've gotten to that point. They can execute, and they're there. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Here in the next several weeks, I'll be showing you guys, teaching you guys the strategies in the Wednesday classes, and even live and in color in the room. Some of you that are here late, every now and then you get to see me do something, because I would accidentally do it in the wrong account that I'm streaming, and you would see it. But I'm gonna be there more. I'm going through that. But you can see this week, Thursday, I had to take my son to get his second vaccine. I didn't get back in the market in time to catch the open, and there was just nothing the rest of the day. I mean, absolutely nothing. And then I didn't really have a watch list anyway. So, and all of the stocks that were hitting the little scanner that I created, everything was running into its support or resistance. I mean, they were stuck in their linear regression channels, and they just never traded out of it. So, was no opportunities on Thursday. Friday, started out really good, and then ended up taking a hit. So I shut it down, and that was that. But still ended the month with only $1,000. But that's not bad, because it could have been worse. And there are times when would finish really, really worse. I would not have been as disciplined and done the things I needed to do in order to finish positive. But so how do you work through going on losing streaks? How many of you would freak out? Like here, Friday, Monday was a 2 days in a row red streak, and then I kind of turned it around. Then here comes Thursday, Friday, Monday, 3 days in a row, 3 max losses. The trade I started was before I got down $600. So when I stopped out of my last trade, I ended up losing more than 600. Once I've realized over a $600 loss, my platform shuts down. It locks up. You can have your broker do that, but if you do, you need to be disciplined enough to not pick up the phone and call your broker and tell them to take the restriction off so you can get back trading again. It's something that you can protect you from yourself. I'm trying to teach you guys how to grow your account. If you're trading a smaller account, how you have to grow it. There's a different mindset, a different mentality in the growth process, because you're not only trying to grow your account, you're trying to grow your trading knowledge, learning how to read price action, how to understand what the candlesticks that are forming are telling you so that you can react accordingly. And it takes time. So, that's my focus on that. And that's why, I'm doing this account, I'm managing this small account the way you have to in order to grow. And that's my main goal, to grow. So how do you judge yourself? How do you determine whether it's you or whether it's the strategy? Okay, and you have to be honest with yourself. So the first thing I look at is going to be the hold on one second. First thing I look at is going to be my mouse is lost. So the first thing we're going to look at is going to be the equity curves. And that's the number one priority here, is going to be the equity curves. And if your equity curve looks like this, you're in good shape. You're fine. This is exactly what you want to see. Okay, this is the equity curve that you want to see. You're growing up. But if you focus on the wrong thing, okay, this is running from week to week. Here's my equity curve that just plots what I make every week. Look, if you look at this, you would swear something is wrong. And when you see this, the first thing you're gonna want to do is make changes. You're gonna want to change, what you do. And that's the wrong response. That's the wrong response, is to wanting to change. Because what you should be focusing on is this. This is telling you that you're putting money in the bank. It doesn't matter what this looks like. To give you an example, look at the 26th, the 31st, the 9th, the 16th. We all show that we're not making as much money from week to week. All right, so we're kind of tracking down. When you go back and look at these same weeks, even though we're not making the same more money from week to week, we're still adding to our account. And that's our number one goal. Because there are going to be weeks when the market's not going to give you as much as it gave you the week before. The market conditions may not be conducive to your strategies. Like for me, I need larger moves. I need to make larger moves in the market. And if the market's not giving me larger moves, then I'm not going to make the money that I need to make. And one of the things that I had to look at this week was, okay, what's going to happen when if the market's not going to give me the moves I'm looking for, if I'm not going to get the 2, 3, 4 point moves anymore, these stocks are going to move $1 and then bounce $2 and then come back and run another dollar and then bounce $2 more. I'm not going to be able to manage, not going to be able to manage that. So what can I do to change it? What can I do to adapt and not make wholesale changes? Like, the strategy works. It's just that we're not getting the follow through. And we're going to look at some of the trades from the week here in a minute. Now, if you're looking at let's see. Yeah, I just got it twice. So just remember, if this is going the wrong way, if this was inverted, there are two things could be wrong. Either you're not executing properly or the strategy is not working anymore. And in that case, that's when you have to look at, adapting. But you got to give it enough time. You can't go on a 3-day losing streak and then say you're going to make all these changes. It doesn't make sense. You need to give it several days. And I've given it a couple months, and we're just not getting the moves that we were getting January, February. It's not. And so we have to make adjustments. And one of the adjustments that I make is going to take profit a little bit sooner. I'm going to, what I call, short shift my trades and take profit a little sooner. In drag racing, if my tires start to spin, I break traction, I short shift it into the next gear to give the car a chance to settle down and recover. And that's basically what I'm doing. I'm short shifting the trades. I'm giving it time to lock in profit and recover, when the market comes back around. So just to sum it up, if you're on a losing streak, number one, don't get upset. Don't be alarmed, because losing streaks teach us the most. That's where we learn the most. And we need to lose in order to win. That's the paradox here. We have to learn how to lose so that we can learn how to win. Eventually, we'll learn how not to lose by making stupid mistakes. But, that comes in growth. So look at the SPY from last week. We have, let's see. This is, I think I took this before the end of the week. Let me see if I can get a newer SPY chart here. I know I've got a newer one. But you can see what was going on last week. Look at the candlestick formation. This is Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Look at the candlestick formation. We were already trading in a channel ever since after the first week in April. But we had a little bit of movement here. We were able to make some money on some good trades. Look at what happened Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Look at the candlestick formation on that. All right, and here's the rest of the week. Okay, here's Thursday. We had the big gap up to 420 on Thursday. And then look what happened. Now we're back inside this channel, on Friday with another doji. Just all of this indecision all day, every day last week, and still inside this channel that we put in after the first week in April. Until we do something, we're going to be stagnant. I mean, I really, honestly and truly wanted this thing to sell off, at least down to the 50, so that we could get some strength. This is hurting swing trades for me. All my technical swing trades, this is killing me. The market's not going anywhere. All the good news, and we talked about all of this morning. If you missed it, just go to the website, the swing trade page of the website. You can watch the first 30 minutes of the video, and it's all talking about the market analysis and what I think's happening, what we need to look for going forward, and all that good stuff. So I'm not going to take any time to sit here and explain all of that now, but if you want to go back and see it, go back and check it out. It's in that video. All right, so Tuesday was when we kind of started riding the ship. Tuesday, we had a really nice opening range trade on UPS. You can see I took profit along the way here, and I'm just changing my MO here, because if this had come back, I would have taken profit 3 times, locked in some pretty good profit, but it bounced. I still had another piece in play. Took some off here. It pulled back. I still had another piece left. It never got over 197. I thought we were going to hit 200. It eventually did last week. It did take out 200, but it didn't do it this day. But it was a really textbook trade for me. Helped me turn my trading around on Tuesday. I think this is on Wednesday. You could see the first trade on PINS was right here. You could see I was trading the opening range. It broke down, but it bounced. Oh no, this is the one I jumped in early. Okay, I got in early on this when it broke the pre-market low, and it put in a 5-minute low, and then it turned around and started to come back. I went ahead and took it off. You can see it recovered all the way to it made a new opening range high, and it failed at the pre-market high, which we always respect. And as it came back down, I ended up taking it, and it just kind of shook me out. But it did eventually sell off and everything, but I was just a little jumpy on that. So that wasn't the best of trades. But on Wednesday, AMD was the big one. Really nice opening range breakdown. I got it as soon as we went through the 20 here. Got profit. It pulled back a little bit, got to the second leg, and as we started to bounce, I took it off. Again, I was not trusting the market. I probably could have waited and put my stop right here at the first cover. And in hindsight and looking at this at the end of the week, I think that would have been the smartest thing to do, which is something I wrote down so that I could kind of pay more attention to this. And so once we came back down, I ended up shorting it, and you could see I just got kind of crazy here. Shorted it, then it bounced back, and I took it off. It was like I was refusing to take a loss. So me not having a red week got into my head, and this is what you see. If I had just shorted this and let the trade work out, it would have been another home run trade. I would have shorted it here, no stop, sold off, bounced. First target, second target, and just kept going. I did trade it some more. I did make some more money on it, but not what I could have. This was just over trading scalps is basically what this was. Never did get back to break even, so I never had a reason to get out. And wouldn't have had to reshort here. I would have just been taking profit. But this is what happens when you let lose, the fact that you don't want to go red. And that was the whole reason I didn't want to look at my P&L every day until the end of the week. I didn't even know what my P&L was on Tuesday, Wednesday. I didn't trade Thursday. And yeah, at the end of the day, Friday, I looked at where everything was. Because this was messing me up. And even without looking at it, it was messing me up. But that's a clear sign of somebody not wanting to take a loss. Clear sign. SPOT, this one was an opening range trade. Ended up stopping out on it. But it turned around and worked, of course. Again, somebody that clearly does not want to take a loss. Clearly. And we had Facebook. This was another fake out. Channel break here. I got in it. I was late getting in to start with. And ended up getting stopped out of this. This was a pretty bad hit. To kind of took away some of the steam I had from this trade. The Uber trade. But another nice opening range breakdown. I mean, not opening range breakdown. Channel break. This was a channel break. And I was fortunate that news came out right when the channel broke. And it actually turned this into a really profitable trade that kind of made up for this Facebook loss. So I had a really decent day on Wednesday. No trades on Thursday. And Friday, this was the best trade of the day. I shorted this looking for a reversal. Again, I took this off. Somebody not wanting to take a loss. This Friday, I think things are really tight. I'm scared to take a loss on this. So I stopped out with a couple dollars profit. And, it did make it to my first target. But then it worked its way back up. I bought this a little too early because I was buying off of this candle versus that candle. So I was buying off the wrong candle. But it did work out. I took profit. It worked its way up. When it rejected twice, I closed it out. Because, again, if it rejects twice, a lot of times it's coming back. It didn't. It held a 9. So I waited till we broke this channel. It just it took 20 minutes to work its way up. First target. And this was the final target up here. 713.18. And, that was that. So this was a really nice trade on Tesla. Only traded 50 shares. And you don't need a whole lot of size in order to make money. That's the beauty of this. If you find a stock, and here Tesla is really not moving like it normally moves. These are subdued moves here. Smothered moves, or they're just not. Tesla's not moving like it usually moves. Nothing really is. But it was moving enough to where you can make some money on 50 shares, and honestly could have made a little bit more if I had traded it a hair better. But um, again, the mentality of not wanting to lose money and just wanted to make sure you put yourself in the position of having a green week, it limits your thinking. But that's kind of how my week went. You know, things will be back to normal Monday. We're starting a fresh month, new slate. I don't have these worries on my back anymore, so um, we'll be good to go. And also, don't forget, I'm going to. It's not every day because I can't do it every day, but the days that I can do it, I'll be live early and late, and you'll see kind of what I do aftermarket. Because honestly, even with the big quarter I had in the small account last quarter, my main account trading just pre-market and aftermarket, I made more money. The moves were better, and so want to kind of share that with you. So you guys have a great rest of the weekend. I hope this helps out, and we will see you in the morning.